Okay, so for our first task, what we'll be doing is restricting the notes a user can use to only being viewable by them. So other users will not be able to view another user that is not theirs notes, nor will they be able to edit, modify, or add notes to another user. In order to do that, we have to utilize the concept of a foreign key by adding the following 3 lines to our notes model. So open up your notes model in Visual Studios, which is under Models, Note.cs, and add the following. Public string user ID. You'll add that getter and setter. Next, you will create another object called public virtual identity user, that getter and setter. And above the new user attribute, you will add in square brackets, foreign key, curved brackets, double quote, user ID, double quote, curved bracket, and note how this square bracket, which is something called a data annotation, states that the user object is associated with the attribute above it, the user ID. So in Identity Framework, if you recall, it automatically generated tables for us, a bunch of tables, which start with ASP.NET. And each user in Identity Framework is associated with an ID number, or ID string in the case of Identity Framework. So if you recall, every unique user has a unique value for its primary key. That's just how primary key works. So by adding in this line, these 2 lines, what we're saying is that number 1, notes is associated with a single user. And number 2, that user has a primary key, and the value in that attribute, the note attribute, that is the primary key referencing the Identity Framework's user, is user ID. Note that the identity user is called identity user, as I just highlighted. However, if you were to look at the database, the name of the actual table that's created for the user that holds the users is ASP.NET users. Okay, so we created that, and now we modified the notes model. So we have to go to our package manager console and update the database. So we would type in add-migration space. Let's create a new migration which will hold the changes for our newly added reference to a user in our notes model. Note to user, we'll call it that, then press enter. This will generate the code to modify the database. And next what we'll do is update database. So this will apply the newly generated code to our database and actually change the structure of the tables. So update database, enter. So there was an error. It said alter column name failed because one or more objects access this column. So what exactly do you think happened here?